In today's quick video, we're going to learn one way to clean door jambs. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone's doing well. Just ignore this spot on my shirt. I spilled some all-purpose on it. I didn't pee myself, so no comments below. But anyway, today we're going to do a quick video on cleaning some door jambs on this nice TRD Pro 4Runner. It's getting a full detail inside and out. And then we're going to do paint correction and Kenzo. But for this video, we're just going to do door jambs. There's a lot of different ways you can do door jambs. You can pressure wash them. You can do it with a Tornador, with the air compressor, or you can just clean them with your regular soap and water in a bucket, maybe a little all-purpose cleaner if they're a little greasy. There's lots of different ways. This isn't the only way to clean door jambs, and this isn't the only way that we clean door jambs. This is just the cheapest way to clean door jambs. Everyone can get a bucket, soap and water, a couple little brushes, and some all-purpose cleaner, and just use your regular hose. So this is the most affordable way. If these were really, really muddy, I would typically recommend still pressure washing, getting the thick mud out, that way you don't scratch up the paint. But these aren't too bad. This method's gonna work just fine. All right, so what do we have in our bucket? I got some Stoner all-purpose cleaner. This will help lift some of the dirt and any kind of grease. Works really, really good. It's a Stoner all-purpose cleaner. You guys know we use this all the time on a lot of different things if you watch all our videos. We did not dilute this at all. It is safe to use on your door jambs. You just want to watch like any other product. You don't want to allow it to dry onto the paint. This will help lift some of the dirt and grease. Then I got some basic brushes in here. Typically I'll throw a bunch of stuff in here. Will I use it all? Probably not. Man, purpose of wearing gloves is to keep my hands dry. That didn't work too well. Everything tends to sink to the bottom. I might use this little wheel woolly brush. Might come in handy. These two I probably won't use. I just keep them in there at all times. The biggest tool that I use the most is your boar's hair detailing brush. This works really good. I use these every day, all day on different jobs, even sometimes for lug nut cleaning, until I got the wheel wormette here. This new wheel cleaning tool. If you haven't seen the video on this yet, make sure to check out Pan the Organizer. He does a review on this. I'll put a link in the description below of his video. But it's got the lug nut tool on the end of it. This is kind of off topic. I know we're doing door jambs here. But this is a really nice wheel cleaning brush, especially for wheels that are really nice and they don't get super, super dirty, and you want something to get inside the wheel that's not going to scratch it all up. It does have a removable microfiber mitt on it. But I'm not going to go too much into that. If you want more information, check out Pan the Organizer. He just put a video up a week or two ago of this tool here. I think it's called the wheel wormette. It's really nice so far. We're still testing it out though. So let's get started with these jambs finally. I can't get back up. Typically what I'll do first is just put a towel here on the seat to cover up in any areas that you don't want to get wet. We're not going to saturate the inside, but sometimes you get a little bit of spit from the door jambs that might bounce onto the seat. Nothing crazy, just a little drop here and there. If you have leather seats, you definitely don't want to get them wet. And then I'll just put one here on the carpet to make sure none of the carpet gets wet. We'll get a couple little splatters on this plastic, but we want to try to avoid getting any kind of interior things wet, whether you're using a pressure washer or a hose. Then we'll just give it a light pre-rinse. Try to knock out any rocks. You don't want to pick up any rocks in your brush. Sometimes they'll get jammed in the hinges. I'll just rinse in here lightly, try to keep it at just a low stream. That's pretty much it. Next we'll grab our all-purpose cleaner and just lightly mist all the jambs. We'll come over here, hit all this a while. If you're doing this outside, you probably want to work in smaller areas, maybe one door area at a time. You don't want this product to dry. Alright, grab my boar's hair brush. I'll shoot a little soap in the brush, or a little all-purpose cleaner. And then just lightly agitate everything. Getting in the weather stripping. I'm surprised these things on the 4Runner aren't too dirty. Usually, in my bucket, usually they're a lot dirtier than this. Rinse out your brush in your bucket every once in a while. I generally don't, you guys can't even see me. I generally don't go, when I'm doing it this method, I don't go above this area right here. I kind of stop on both sides. If I tend to go any higher than this with a brush or hose, you're going to get all the door panels wet. Typically anything above here you'll hit later, which is the microfiber towel and maybe some quick detailer when we get to that. But I like to keep everything below here. Sometimes I don't even get too close to this, especially if I already detailed the interior. Just get the heavily soiled areas with your brush. You don't need to worry about any light dust up top. Just get the heavy muddy stuff. And we'll just get back in here, get all the hinges. Like I said, we're just trying to get the heavy dirt. If you notice any grease on your hinges, sometimes you want to let a little grease there, that way you don't have to re-grease them. I wouldn't try to, if your hinges are all black, I wouldn't try to remove every little spot of grease. One thing's nice is they're never going to rust because they have grease on them, but then they're going to open and shut a lot nicer. So don't try to remove all the grease unless you plan on re-greasing your hinges. Just try to get the mud and the leaves and sticks and whatever else is in there. Generally in this area, I don't go any higher than this, the door line right here. I don't think I'm probably going to use any other tools. This is probably going to be the only tool we use. This bottom area here, this is always really dirty. It's okay. It's not a big deal if you miss a spot here and there. Just trying to get the heavy dirt. We're going to come back and wipe them down with a nice protectant or a quick detailer afterwards once we're done the full detail. Alright, once you got one whole area cleaned, you could do, but generally I'll do this whole side at one time, especially working inside since it doesn't dry. But if you're working outside, just rinse it off after you get one area done. Rinse everything off, top to bottom. Try not to make a mess. If you're worried about making a mess and splashing the inside up a little bit, just try to stay away from your try to stay away from your speakers, any kind of electronics, and then you can detail your interior after you do your door jambs if you want to. I think sometimes the pressure washer can be easier actually than the garden hose to control where the water goes. Let's go ahead and rinse this side off. Like I said, it's not a big deal if you get a little splash here and there. You might get a little water on here, a little splash. Not the end of the world. I was watching a couple videos before I even did this video, and a lot of guys were using pressure washers, and there's nothing wrong with using pressure washers whatsoever. In all reality, if the door jambs are really dirty, we always use a pressure washer. We just put a tighter nozzle on it so the spray pattern's a little tighter. It's not quite as like a wide fan pattern, and you can really control where the water goes. You just have to watch out you don't get too close to like where the wires go into the doors. Stay away from your speakers. You really shouldn't be hitting the pressure washer against any plastics. And with the pressure washer, I only typically do these edges in the bottom. It's usually this edge and the bottom, and then in this crack right here. But sometimes when you spray in here, it bounces back to there. So you want to make sure you have your seats covered up because you might get a little bit more splattering if you try to get in here. Another trick is, Todd always does this. He'll just shut the door, and then just leave it cracked open like that where you can't open it. But you can still close it, and he'll spray water in here with the pressure washer to get some of the dirt out. I don't think that works as good. He says it does. He said that trick works really well. I just haven't had much luck with it. I like to actually spray in there, get it all one shot, and move on to the next thing. And if you happen to get any water on this plastic here, just wipe it off. Not a big deal. If you did vinyl shine all your plastics, it kind of sucks because sometimes it'll take the vinyl shine off. But that's pretty much it. Didn't get any water on the carpet, no water on the seat. We'll come back here and do basically just the same thing as we did in the front. Whenever I do the back door jambs, I typically like to close this front door. That way you don't have to worry about splashing anything into the front. And then if you come come across anything like heavy dirt here, I'll try to rinse this off before I even touch it to reduce any kind of scratching. This one I can access from the outside, so I'll just close this. And open it up. And then this whole inside seal is full of dirt and rocks. It's pretty dirty. Bring you guys in. Try to spray some of this off before I even touch it. Pre-rinse some of this in here. Make sure your front door is shut, like I said. That way you don't get any water. If you leave your front door open when you're doing this back area, you will get splashed onto your front seat. So always shut your front door to do the back. And if you want to spray, you don't have to spray them all at once if you don't want to with your all-purpose. You could just do section by section. And scrub everything real good. I like to use soapy water just as some added lubrication. I don't know, I like the suds. We all like suds. If you see a little bit of grease down here, I would just let it there. That's kind of a rust protection. Don't scrub too much. If you see a greasy area, the grease is probably there for a reason. Steam cleaners work really well. Also, if you have a steam cleaner, back in the day we used to use a steam cleaner for door jambs. Now it just takes too long to get it filled up and start it up and wait on it. This works just as well, if not better, and you don't have to wait for your machine to warm up. Scrub this. That's pretty much it. I mean, we'll scrub all this doing the same method. It's basically pre-rinse, spray it with all-purpose, hit it with your scrub brush, your boar's hair brush, preferably a softer brush. Don't use anything real aggressive. Before it dries, rinse it off and then move on to the next area. But I do recommend putting a couple towels on the inside. That way if you get any splatter, you don't make a mess. And while you're here, you could also do your door jamb. Just do it the same way. Just spray a little all-purpose in there. It's always getting nasty. Rinse out my brush. And then scrub all that dirt away. Hopefully you guys can see. Yeah, you guys can see me. It's hard to videotape yourself. Get in there. I wouldn't loosen up your cap. Just leave it tightened up or make sure it's tight. Rinse out my brush again. I think we're at almost 7,500 subscribers, which is amazing. It's really something else. Every day, me and Todd wake up and look and see how many subscribers we got, and read all your guys' comments. We really enjoy reading the comments. That's the best part. See if we can help one of you guys out. That's why we enjoy detailing. We like seeing our customers' faces when they pick up their car. That's the biggest thing. We definitely don't do this for the money. It's just we enjoy it so much. And rinse that. Better shut this before. I didn't even rinse this off yet. Losing my mind. Like this area isn't even dirty. I'll just wipe this with the quick detailer. It's just a little dusty. Close that door and then rinse out your fuel door. Like on some of the cars, they don't actually have a gas cap. I don't spray water in them. I don't know if water gets in there or not, but if you don't have an actual gas cap on, I probably wouldn't recommend spraying water in there. This one has one, so we're gonna spray it. Should be good. All right, same thing goes for the back here. I'll put a couple towels down. Sometimes if you have leaves up here, you want to remove any leaves or debris or sticks before you actually make it wet. They're a lot easier to get out when the debris are dry versus when they're wet. Put a couple towels down here in case we didn't get any dripping from here to here, but there's definitely a decent sized lip there, so we should be all right. A couple little sticks. What else is up here? Some nuts. I don't really feel too much else up in here. Should be good. All right, so I don't think I'm gonna use the hose too much to pre-rinse this. It's not that dirty. I'm just gonna use a bottle of warm water. It can be warm or cold. I just have warm water here, so it works. I think it works better. Pre-rinse it with that. If you have an area that's a little dirty, you can always put it on like pressure washer mode. Pressure washer mode, you can shoot it in some areas that are tight to reach, but you can get that pressure in there. And then we'll hit it with the I should be wearing my mask, guys. Hit it with the all-purpose cleaner. We'll do the body side first, and then we'll do the actual hatch second. Get our boar's hair brush and scrub everything. Once in a while you get like a little splash here and there. That's why we got the blankets there. There's many ways to clean door jambs. This isn't the only way. Each vehicle is sometimes a little different. Car, truck, SUV. Sometimes they're moldy and full of branches and sticks. We clean them a little bit differently than others. But for general, this is the general way to clean door jambs. Rinse out the brush. Clean these if you want to. You can hear my brush kind of hitting the plastic once in a while. This is plastic. I think they're all plastic or wood. Just you want a plastic or wood one, that way you don't scratch anything up. You can't stop that 100%. Once in a while it hits the paint. Never had a problem with it scratching. You still want to try to be careful. Get around the get around the tail light area. I typically will not use a pressure washer on the rear hatch. Just makes a big mess, and you don't want to blow any water into your tail lights. We all know what happens then. I feel like I'm jumping around a lot. Usually I stay in one area and clean it, but I'm like back and forth making this video. So I tell my guys, focus in one area and move on to the next once you're done that area. And here I am making a video, jumping all around. It's because I'm trying to think what I'm going to say next before I get to it. All right, now we just got to rinse the all-purpose away. Try to use the hose here. Sometimes I'll take off the nozzle so I can direct the water a little bit better. I think there's a big enough channel right here where I can kind of control just to make sure no water comes down onto the carpet. We don't have to get every little piece of all-purpose. We just want to try to get any extra dirt out. I still have to wash the whole outside, so I'm not too worried about getting every little bit of all-purpose. When I go to wash the outside, some water will still get in these jambs, especially when I clean the roof. Then to clean the hatch, I'll typically just use a damp towel that I dipped in my soapy water and just clean the hatch with this. If you have any tight areas, you can use your brush, but typically the towel will do the trick. Flip it around every once in a while. You guys still see me? I need a wider lens on my camera. It's too narrow. The shop here isn't that big, so I gotta have the camera like against the wall. That's pretty good. All right, so now I get to wash the rest of this thing off. Surprisingly, the door jambs aren't actually that bad on this vehicle. I was surprised because the whole underneath's full of mud. I got to pull the wheels off to clean them. But as far as door jamb cleaning goes, really guys, you can do any method that suits you best. One day I'll do it how we did it today with the boar's hair brush and all-purpose. And tomorrow I might, if it's really dirty, I might hit them with all-purpose and then hit it with the pressure washer. I typically don't use the steam cleaner because it's kind of a pain. I don't think it really works that well for my steam cleaner. Maybe if you have one of them big bad steam cleaners that really sprays it out, it probably works pretty good. But typically I'll use either the pressure washer or the hose and brushes that we use today. The biggest tip I have is just getting off the heavy mud and dirt first. Even pre-rinse any heavy mud off before you even touch it with a brush or microfiber. But I like, after I wash it and clean everything, dry it all down, I like to come back and just wipe the door jambs down with a quick detailer. I don't like to sit there and get off mud after I wash it. So I like to get off all the heavy mud before I even touch the exterior paint. And you get splatter everywhere from cleaning the door jambs. And then when I do wipe down, do a final wipe on the door jambs, I'll use a quick detailer. We just happen to use the bead maker. It sounds like some kind of ad. This isn't an ad. I'm not sponsored by Rennie Doyle and his bead maker, but it does work really, really well on the door jambs. Works good on all exterior paint, plastics, and wheels, but it works really good on door jambs, especially on black door jambs. It doesn't streak up like some quick detailers on black door jambs, and it makes them really smooth. And it adds a little bit of protection. This isn't the best protection, but I like the smoothness and I like the streak-free aspect of it. We're actually doing a giveaway in this video, guys. A couple guys from Stoner Solutions actually dropped off a whole bucket of detailing supplies, which is really cool. That's who we purchased the all-purpose cleaner from, Invisible Glass, Terminator. They have a lot of good stuff, and there's a lot of good stuff in that bucket. I think it even comes with a grit guard, and the actual bucket is a wash bucket. But that's pretty cool. So I guess this video is kind of sponsored by Stoner Car Care. I probably shouldn't be holding a PNS bead maker in my hand, but to be entered to win, you don't have to be a subscriber or anything. If you guys like the videos, please subscribe, but it's not a necessity. Just comment something below. Keep it PG-13, please, and if you have any questions about the door jamb detailing today, feel free to comment below as well. But yeah, like I said before, each his own. Just use common sense when cleaning door jambs. But yeah, I'm gonna get back to detailing this thing. We got a lot of work to do, probably another 30 hours to put into this thing, so I'm gonna get back to detailing. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll catch you later.